Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It feels so good to welcome you back after this long year and a half. What we're going to do this morning is have our music first. And our guest, as you know, is Daniela Volker, who is principal second violin of the ESO. And you have a little bio of Daniela in your packet, and she will talk to you a little bit as she plays. So I am not going to waste any more time. You came here to listen to Daniela, not me. So she will be accompanied by the very best accompanist I've ever heard, who is Murna. So take good care, everyone.
Thank you. It's so great to be with you all this morning. This was a gypsy folk song. It's called Dark Eyes. Now, gypsy music was such a big part of my growing up. I would hear it all the time on the radio, on the Romanian variety shows, on TV. It was just, we were just surrounded by that. And so it kind of fused into the Romanian folk song as well. So when Murna asked me to be a part of this event today, I said, yeah, that would be great. What are we going to play, Murna? And I said, do you want to do some Brahms? Or I can do a solo Bach. I love playing those two composers. And Murna was like, no, let's just leave the bees out. We'll just do a Bach concert. Like, yeah, sure, that would be wonderful. So we picked some of our favorite selections for this program. Hope you will enjoy it. But before you hear any more music, I would like to give you a little bit of my background. Some of you may know me for a while and might be familiar with some of it, but Let me put my bow down so I don't drop anything. Okay, so I was born in Bucharest, which is the capital city of Romania. I'm the oldest of two and the first in my family to become a professional musician. My mom, who worked as an accountant, and my dad, who worked as a designer, drafter, tool and die maker, they loved and appreciated music. My dad played a little bit of piano, so he would occasionally play piano and pump organ in church, and sometimes would direct the choir. When I got old enough to go to school, my parents wanted me to play an instrument to be able to play in church, but my dad didn't think that I had any, it still makes me laugh, musical ear or talent, because he had tried to teach me piano, and it just went terribly wrong. I did not like it. I just was not interested at all. I don't think he was a very good teacher. Our orchestra conductor at church, who was also a violinist with the Philharmonic in Bucharest, wanted to test my musical abilities. And I have him to thank, my dad was proven wrong, very wrong. He suggested to my parents that I start on violin. Now, most kids, when they start an instrument, they start in first grade. It's not, you don't wait around, you just start in first grade. But by this time, I was going into second grade. So they told me I would have to work really hard to catch up. So I did. By the end of the year, my first year, I was at the same level with the other kids. Now, the school system in Romania is very, very different than what we have around here. The elementary school does not offer lessons on any instrument or orchestra. All you had was just a general music class, that's it. So to learn an instrument, to have any musical training, you have to go to a music school. So in the morning, I would go to the elementary school in our district. We live in the 10th floor apartment building in the southern district of Bucharest. Now, the music school was in downtown Bucharest, so that was quite a ways. After school, which ended around 1 or 2, I would take a bus and a trolley to get to the music school, where I would have violin lessons, theory classes, orchestra, choir, and, you guessed it, yes, piano. I did have to take piano, but it wasn't quite the same. Music was becoming very important to me. I loved playing in church, being downtown, seeing the concert hall, Ateneu, it's called, attending concerts there. The building is just a beautiful architecture. It reminds you very much of the concert hall in Vienna. Very ornate, just a perfect place for a music lover to be around that area. This became a wonderful escape to me from some of the realities of life under the Ceausescu communist regime. By the time I was going into 8th grade, everything in the country was getting even worse, if that could be possible. I also had a chance around that time. I also had to decide whether I would become a professional violinist or change direction altogether. Kids in Romania, that you have to decide by age. By the time you're 13 and you're going into 8th grade, you have to decide which, the same decision that kids make here when you go to college. Well, we had to decide that at 13 because all the high schools in Romania are specialized, and they all have a very strict entrance exam in order to get into your high school, choice high school. So you spend all your 8th grade preparing for these exams. For me, what that meant was that I had 4 exams to pass in order to get into the music high school. Violin technique was one exam, violin repertoire was the other, music theory written testing, and music theory, solfege, and chords and all that. So you had to pass all these 4 exams, 4 separate days, in order to be able to go for me to go to that high school. Now, about this time, something else was happening. Unbeknown to my brother and me, our parents began being concerned for our future. They started to just think about and look into the process of leaving the country. Now, that was a big deal, big deal. You had to talk about it. You had to make sure absolutely that that's what you wanted to do. It's not like here, well, I'm going to get a passport, I'm going to get a visa if the country requires a visa, and I'm done. No, it was not that at all. So, but they didn't tell us right away. It took a while because they wanted me to finish these exams. They wanted to see what the next step would really be. So I got my results. I got into the music high school, all good. And then shortly after that, the long process of leaving the country began. It was very stressful. It was very hard. After 5 years, we were finally on our way to Chicago. Very exciting. We arrived in December. It was an amazing sight. Oh, the Christmas lights, decorations. I thought I was in fairyland. All the stores with so much abundance. I had never seen that before. Marshall Fields, with all the moving displays. It was just beautiful. Even the first trip to 7-Eleven was amazing. I couldn't believe it. I was just in awe. It was really a dream come true. in church was such an important part of my life growing up. Murna and I like to do a couple of our favorite numbers. I'm pretty sure you will recognize at least the first one.